Are you seeking guidance on your spiritual journey? Need help with a vexing problem? Missing a loved one and looking for answers? Look no further than Psychic Insights, a small trusted psychic service offering mediums, psychics, and spiritual coaching. This service is managed by Hollis Taylor, a gifted psychic medium, astrologer, and a compassionate coach. We are dedicated to helping you navigate your spiritual awakening. At Psychic Insights, we provide medium readings and psychic insight to help you plan for tomorrow and make choices for today. Find the support you need, compassionate grief coaching, and astrological insights to help you spiritually grow and transform. Our professional services include well-managed schedules, recorded sessions, and reliable psychic mediums ready to facilitate your transformational experience. Discover more at psychicinsights.life.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome, everyone.
Welcome. So excited to see everyone tonight.
Hi, Tracy.
Hey, Tracy.
And Lisa. Michelle, good evening. And Angie, and Chelsea, KJ Hartz, welcome, everyone. I'm sure there's more people going to tune in here in just a minute. Hi, Kristen and Mandy, welcome.
Hi.
I'm glad you're all here. Welcome. It's good to have you with us today. And I'm glad everybody's tuning in. We're going to be doing some live spirit-led readings with Sarah Redcrow. So I hope you guys enjoy that. And happy, it's Friday, right? Happy Friday, everybody. Yes. Hi, Carla and Dawn.
Hello. Oh,
hi, Tracy.
You, Tracy. Tracy's always so sweet.
Carla says happy Friday.
And Carla.
These days I'm starting to notice Friday, mostly just because I homeschool my grandkids. So like it's Monday through Friday type of thing. And then I'm like, oh, it must be the weekend.
How are you liking homeschooling? I homeschool my youngest. It's different, hey?
It's not my first rodeo. It's my second time. This is the second generation. So I homeschooled my son. So now I'm homeschooling his two children. It's very natural to me. I'm a Virgo. So I mean it has its challenges, but it's only a couple hours a day. It's not that big of a deal. The granddaughter, she's like 10, and my grandson's like 7. So, and he's a little bit more work than she is, but they both my grandson though, he's easier because he learns really fast, but it's weird because he always comes at everything backwards.
Wow.
So I guess it's from being self-educated. Like he educates himself a lot, and then you're like, okay, so he knows how to do subtraction mental math, but he doesn't know how to do borrowing. So I was like, oh, we have to review that. And I had to make sure he could do carryovers and stuff like that before we move on to fractions. So he's supposed to be in the first grade, but I teach him like 4th and 5th and 6th grade level stuff. Oh. But my granddaughter, she's completely normal. But he's emotionally immature. You know, he's neurodivergent.
I'll have to get some.
You have to get some what?
Well, I was going to say I'll have to get some tips from you. This is Ileana's. Well, since grade 3, she's in grade 7 this year. Been homeschooling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, Tracy, we do it on FaceTime mostly or Zoom. Yep. And mostly we just get on, and we've been working with a couple of games. I use a thing that I can assign their assignments way before and set it up for each day. So then they can log in and see what they'll have a couple of worksheets to do, and then once they have to do a language arts program first, which is called Night Zookeeper. It's actually a British program. My grandson was like, he realized it was British, right? Because he's into different languages. And he goes, this is really funny. And so it's a British-based English language arts program. It teaches you how to read and write and teaches you, like, verbs and adverbs and stuff. And he goes like this. He goes, I'm going to learn how to speak British.
Cute.
I was like, yep. Mm-hmm. Occasionally there's a word or two that the Brits mostly use. And then we just all laugh, and I just laugh, and I'm just like, oh my God. So yeah, so he's actually doing pretty good. So we use 2 different games there, plus some other small games, and we do worksheets every day, and we work on little. So I try to keep his project small. His sister has way bigger art projects and stuff where she can learn science and social studies, and he still does that same language arts program. So she'll learn how to speak British too. And and in math, I use Math Antics. There's like little programs you can get online. I have found that with neurodivergent kids, it's better to make your own curriculum.
Right.
Because if you try to like go with some of the pre-made curriculums, if your kid is a little bit like behind in this area but advanced in this area, it's harder to customize it.
Right. We do parent based, and she does do programs on iExcel.
Uh-huh.
It's been good, but just been getting her to ask questions, read books, and I get her to do little reports after every book that she reads.
That's good. There you go.
Now that she's 13, she's like, do I have to? And I'm like, yes, you do.
Another really great resource is recess.gg, which is an online socialization thing that they can join, like the art club or the video club. And that's a really great thing. And they can meet every weekday afternoon at 3:00, and they can socialize with other kids and play coding games. And today they had an art club meeting at 3:00, stuff like that. So it's actually really good as far as I can understand, Recess. And then of course we use, it's like 3 different programs. I use a lot of different stuff. So I use a lot of resources, little here, little there. And I just signed up my grandson for a class. So, all right. Perfect. Well, we finally got enough people. We can get you started here.
Okay.
All right. Let me pull out and let you go.
Okay. Well, hi, everyone. I'm so happy to have you here with me tonight. I will be doing spirit-led readings, which that just means that I will be bringing spirits through who have a message for you. I will give you the description of how they look to me. A lot of times I'll get their personality. So your job is just to listen, and if anything that you can resonate with, please put in the comments what you can resonate with. Sorry, I don't know why I was like stumbling on that part. I just want to say that don't be disappointed if your loved one doesn't come through. A lot of times our loved ones who might have been shy in life can still be shy in the afterlife, or they just prefer to have more of a private reading. My son is one of those people. So a lot of times before I was giving readings, I would jump on lives, and a few times he would come through, but then I was told that he prefers more private. So that is totally acceptable. I always like to say quickly how I became a medium. So when I was a child, I could hear spirits, but it kind of sounded like more whispered conversations. And because being a child, I didn't do nothing about it. But it wasn't until November 26, 2021, when not only just my life, but my whole family's life was basically shattered. We caught the COVID-19 virus. It was really bad. Unfortunately, my oldest child and only son didn't survive. And it was so shocking because the day before he was up sitting in bed playing on his Wii U. And I thought, oh, good, he's finally getting better. The next day I slept in and my daughter, his younger sister, woke me up and she said, Mom, you have to come. And I'll never forget the look on his face. Oh, how he struggled to breathe. I drove him to the hospital because we only live a few blocks away. And within about 5 minutes being there and him being assessed, his heart stopped for the first time. It would stop 4 more times before they got him to the ICU. And in ICU, I watched as 7 nurses and the doctor that was tending to him did emergency CPR. I remember the moment when they called it, and I remember pushing them back in the room. I was just broken. That's when I found out that they were working CPR for over 3 hours. And apparently that's not really common that they would try so long. But after I went, they let me go in the room with him, and I felt like a small child. You know, like when you enter something like magical or holy, whether it be a church or if being in the forest, but I felt that sense of needing to be very quiet. I remember telling my son for him to come back to me. And later on that night, I was sitting in my living room and I was looking down the hallway and his bedroom door was open. We must have forgot to close it. And his light was off. And then I heard click and his light turned on, and then click, it turned off. And then I said, Jonah, and it turned on again. It took me about a month to decide that I was not ready to say goodbye. So I did what everyone does, even everyone here tonight. I searched out a medium, and I didn't have any money. I wasn't able to work. So I jumped on a bunch of lives, but I decided that I needed to learn how to say hello again myself. And I did. And with the help of Hollis, and I'll never forget that meeting with Hollis in the discovery meeting where I brought up the fact that I want to learn to be a medium. And instead of telling me, oh, no, you can't, Hollis told me, yeah, you can. You just need to trust in yourself. So now if you get a reading with me and you bring that up to me, I will definitely tell you, trust in yourself. And it's not even about being a medium. Just trust in yourself in the everyday. And especially when you're looking for signs from your loved ones, trust in what you do receive. Because I know as humans, we like to try to, I don't know, like give a proper reason why something happened. So like if your loved one's favorite song came on the radio and you think of them, when you instantly think of them when something like that happens, or just something that makes them pop in your mind, just trust that that is them sending you signs. So with the help of Hollis, and a lot of other mediums that I found along the way. Stacy Siegel Brickley is also one of them that, along with Hollis, gave me that confidence. I learned how to be a medium, and now my goal is to bring you, help you say hello again, let you know that it isn't the end, that you can say hi, they can talk to you. My son, I always show a picture of him because he plays a huge part in my mediumship. As all of you can see on my link, it says Sarah Redcrow -2. And when Hollis was trying to make me my link, it would not work without the -2. And we both realized it made sense because it's not just me doing this. My son helps. He brings your loved one to the reading. He guides them to me, and I just help give them a voice. But this is my son. His name's Jonah. He was about 17, I believe, in this picture. We were walking and that butterfly just landed on him. Little things like that always happen with him. So he's the one who guides your loved ones here. And yes, I just want to say thank you all for joining tonight. I appreciate all your love and support and kindness. And remember, feel free to ask your loved one to step forward. There's no harm in asking, right? Okay, well, I hope that everyone can have an enjoyable night, and I will begin. And I just ask for all of your permission to work with that, your energy and that of your loved ones. Let's see who we have here tonight. Jonah, were you ready? So I do have a young girl stepping forward. She's a little bit taller, maybe about 5 feet. She looks to be around the age of, I want to say maybe 13, 12 to 13. She looks like she's wearing a school uniform, so like the pleated navy skirt. She has the white blouse on, and her hair is brown. It's a little bit longer. I would say it comes to about her shoulders, but a lot of times she would wear it in like low pigtails. What's interesting with her is that I noticed her part, like when you have to part your hair to either put it in braids or pigtails, it's very precise. She's showing me like she has like those knee-high socks, and they look like a black, I almost want to say like black Mary Jane shoes, leather. The one thing that I notice about her is like one of her socks seems like it's always like pushed down. She's very, like, she's slender. She's got big brown eyes, and she has like a little bit of freckling like across her nose. She when she's standing there, she always like she has her one arm crossed over, and it's like she's pinching her elbow. I think it's a nervous habit. She's also showing me that she was active in school. I see her with other girls, and they're playing, it looks like they're playing soccer in their school field. The school behind them is quite large. It's almost like a gray brick. Would anybody be able to take her description? Carla says, thank you for sharing your story. I have never heard it before. Oh, you're welcome, Carla. Carla Wolf Richards. Just going to see if she can show me anything else. So again, she's bringing me to this soccer field, and I see a bunch of other girls. They all seem to be in the school uniform. I see some of them. It looks like I knew them as almost like we called them in school like pennies. It's called, I don't know where that name came from, but it's like it looks like a mesh vest, like a tank top that you would put over. It's kind of like how in my school they would do that for different teams. Like some were just like plain clothes, and some were like they wore like we just called them pennies. I know, odd name for a shirt. But I see her and the other kids like running and chasing this soccer ball. Where she lives, I feel that it's kind of more of a damp, cooler climate. She's like running, but I feel cold, and like, you know, when you're like outside and the weather is kind of like it's been raining or something. She is showing me that she pulls out an inhaler. So I see like the blue inhaler. I see her running, and then she like kind of has to stop, and she pulls out her inhaler and takes deep breaths from it. So I do feel that she has asthma. Would anybody be able to recognize her? Okay, so at this point, might just ask her to step aside if no one can take her, but I'll just do a quick review before. So she's a young girl. I would put her maybe for height at least like 5 feet. She's thin build. Has like, for her hair, it's like kind of almost like a mousy brown color. She wore it in pigtails, but the lower pigtails. And the one thing that I noticed that kind of stood out to me is that when she parted her hair, like it's very, very like precise, straight. The school that she attended, I feel that they had uniforms. So I'm starting to think that it's more of an all girls school, because I haven't seen any boys, or that she didn't show me. She is showing me her wearing a plaid or a pleated navy skirt, white button-up shirt, short sleeve. The shoes she's wearing, they remind me of like black leather Mary Janes. She has knee-high socks. One sock seemed to always be kind of like down, like it just wouldn't stay up. She's showing me that she played soccer at the school. The school looks like a gray brick building. The climate, it seems rainy and just chilly. So I'm not too sure if it was just about the time of what she's showing me. She does show me that she had to use an inhaler. So I do feel that she might have had asthma. Would anybody be able to take this girl? Okay, well, I'm just going to ask her to step aside, and I'll see if anyone else would like to come through. I invite Spirit, who has a message to give, to step forward. So I do have another gentleman stepping forward. I would put him maybe mid-30s. I'd put his height around, I want to say maybe like 5'10", 5'12". He kept his hair short, almost like a brush cut, like army cut. He's just showing me that when it got a little bit longer, he would just take clippers and like cut his own hair. He was just saying that he says, why waste money on a barber when he can do it himself? I feel like for him, it was like he was a combination of, he dressed good and he liked to smell good, but like stuff like, as he's showing me like hairdressers and that, he was just like, whatever. Like he just had that confidence. He's saying, he goes, doesn't matter. I look good. He's showing me he wears glasses. They're a darker frame. How he's showing me his outfit. I see a white t-shirt and then kind of like a black puffer jacket, blue jeans. His jeans, they were a little bit on the baggy side, but not overly baggy. When he did try to grow a mustache, it didn't always come as thick as he would like. I noticed his lips seem a little bit more on the thinner side. His energy, I feel like he was just always on the go, especially like when he got excited, he would be like really animated, like talking with his hands and talking really, really fast. It's just like he's saying that for him, he was just really passionate about everything. He's saying that at times his ego kind of got the best of him, where some people might have found him like argumentative, but when he had an idea in his head, and to him, when it was like right, it was right. He said, he's just saying, he goes, okay, maybe I wasn't always right. He goes, but I would try my hardest to convince whoever I was trying to talk to that I was right, in the right. He's showing me that he used to like kind of going on long walks, especially if he needed to blow off steam. He was a smoker. So I saw him as he's like walking away, he's like lights a cigarette in his mouth. And for him, though, it's like he would take a few puffs, but then as he's walking, it was like almost like he forgot about it and it would like burn down before he smoked it. Would anybody be able to recognize him? Mm-hmm. Hey, Sarah. But, oh, sorry. on going quickly. I'm just going to ask him if he has anything else that he would like to share with us tonight. And I'll do a quick recap. So the gentleman stepping forward, I would put him in between like maybe 5'10", 5'12" at the most. He wasn't like a good, like he knew how to dress nice. But when he needed a haircut, he would just take the clippers and shave his own hair. He has darker frame glasses. His nose is a little bit more on the narrow side. And when he did try to grow a mustache, it was like not thick. His lips are a little bit more thinner. And he just seemed like he has that energy, like he's always on the go, talks really fast. I guess get this like almost like this passionate, like he was saying like sometimes like his ego would get the best of him. He's showing me him wearing a white t-shirt, a black kind of puffer jacket. He did smoke. When he was upset or something, he would go on long walks. And then sometimes he says, well, he goes, I didn't have to be upset to walk. He liked being outside. He's wearing, his pants are jeans, slightly baggy, but not overly baggy. And I feel like his shoes were kind of more like the high top shoes. Would anybody be able to recognize him? Okay. Well, at this point, I'm just going to ask him to step aside then. So I do have another, Michelle Strain says, hello, I would love to hear from my son. Okay, Michelle. So definitely I'm doing spirit-led readings. So as I bring spirit through, I'll give a description. And if anything sounds like matches your son, please don't be afraid to speak up in the comments. That's kind of like how I'm able to see who belongs to who. And I just want to say I'm sending you so much love and light, Michelle, because I have a son in spirit too. And I know how hard that is for us mothers. Okay, so I do have another gentleman stepping forward. I actually recognize this gentleman, and I believe his significant other is here. Sarah smiles. So I just want you to know that Derek is here. He's dropping in. Would you understand him showing me him like bringing you a bouquet of, it's so funny because it looks like roses, but like right in the middle, it almost looks like a big sunflower. I hear from him and he's like putting his hand like that. And he goes, hey girl. He goes, I just want to say, hey, how you doing? He says that he's doing good. He wants you to know that he's still watching out for you and your guys' children. He says that he's very proud of both your guys' son and daughter. So Sarah says he used to bring me flowers all the time. He's being funny. He goes, I knew you'd like them. He's trying to do a little bit of humor, and he says, well, he goes, just because I'm not, and he air quotes, alive, he goes, doesn't mean I can't give my girl flowers. So I hope you can understand him calling you his girl. He goes, I know it's been many years. He goes, but you'll always be my girl. And he calls you his boo as well. He just wants you to know that he does hear when you talk to him. And he says that he appreciates everything that you have done, especially in honor of him. He says that he knows that it's not easy. He goes, but he says if anyone ever had his back, it was you. He says, I miss you too. Sarah just said, I miss him. He was just saying that he goes, he's never far away. So he's mentioning for your guys' daughter, he goes, he says that he wants her to know that to trust in what she is feeling, to go for her dreams. Would you understand him saying, go big or go home? He says that's for both your son and daughter. Your son, he looks a lot like his dad. Would you understand, like his hair though, where I see Derek with his hair, like, well, he kept it on more of like the bald side at times. He's joking. He goes, I can grow hair. But your son, like his hair's a little bit longer on top, taller, lanky. Derek was just saying that, he's been hanging out with his boy. He's like, I've been kicking it with him. He goes, he doesn't really know I'm there, but he goes, I'm still trying to do dad duties. He just wants to let you know that even those times where it feels like he is not present, he is present. He says that he loves you endlessly. He says that you were not just his girlfriend or wife or baby mama. He says you were his home, his best friend. And he says not a lot of people get to have that all wrapped into one. He goes, but I was one of the lucky ones. He goes, and look, he goes, it's been so many years and she's still fighting for me. He goes, I'm one of the lucky ones. And he keeps on like doing he kisses his fingers and then does the peace and goes like that. So I hope you can understand that. I just want to thank him for coming through tonight. And thank you, Sarah, for being here. I'm just going to see who else I have for tonight. Sarah says, he sure was lucky. Would you understand him? So he was like, I saw him kind of walk around or walk away, and then he turns around. He goes, girl, he goes, you were lucky too. He goes, I was a catch. Sarah says, I will always fight for him. And I just want you to know that he knows that and he appreciates you so much. He says that you're one of the real ones. Always have, always will be. Okay, let's see who else I have tonight. So I do have an older lady stepping forward. She's she's shorter. I would put her maybe like 80s to 90s. Slimmer build. I feel that she kind of like hunched while she walked. I feel that she might have had a little bit of hard time with her back. She shows me her wearing, it's like white slacks. And I see she has like a purple button-up woman's blouse. And she also has like a knitted sweater. white, and she would commonly like kind of just drape it over her shoulders. She has curly white hair. It almost looks like a little halo around her. Very, very sweet. Like, and she's showing me that she had a hearing aid. So a lot of times she's showing me someone would talk to her and she'd be like, huh? And she'd be having to fiddle with it. And she says a lot of times her hearing aid would like make that whistling sound. And she would joke and say, oh, it likes you. It's whistling at you. She did have like the bigger glasses. She's showing me that she has a necklace and it looks like a cross on it. So Marissa Badler sounds like a combo of my two grandmothers. Okay, Marissa, what can you take? If you could just let me know from each. Sometimes they're what we like to call piggybacking. So two spirits will come in as one. I'm just going to see maybe if that's the case here. So she was showing me her hands. I do feel that she did have a walker, but it was like the ones that you could push. And her hands were, well, it reminds me of my grandma's hands when she got around that age. Skin very thin. She had kind of a slight tremor when like she was going to reach. Oh, so Marissa Badler says, one grandmother always wore sweaters even when it was 80. Ooh, she was very well dressed. Okay. So she's also showing me she has a little gold watch. It's very delicate. And she's showing me that she would keep like tissue underneath. I do feel that she had quite a large family. And she was saying that when she was like a younger, her and her family grew up on a farm. So Tracy says, I can take everything but the hair color. Okay. And then Marissa says, yes, she did keep tissue in her sleeve. Marissa says, one grandma, oh, so I read that about the sweater. So she's saying that like when she was younger, she did grow up on a farm. She was no stranger to hard work, like hard labor work. She's saying that she got married at a young age. I feel she might have been like maybe about like 16, 17 at the time. And then she was showing me her and her husband. So how she's showing it almost looks like a black and white picture to me. She's very pretty. The style of like her hair and her clothes, it kind of reminds me like maybe 1950s, maybe late 40s. Her husband, he's taller. Again, how she's showing me, it looks like a black and white picture. So I do feel that he had darker hair. Her hair looks a little bit on the darker side, but not like a dark brown. And then I see at least 6 children in front at different ages. So some look like they would be like maybe 13-ish, and it kind of goes down, and then she's holding a baby. I do feel that, you know, she raised her family on the farm. She's showing me her kitchen, and she would host, you know, family gatherings. Can anyone take that information? So Tracy says that I think that's my grandma. So Tracy, would you be able to understand when she passed, she would have been in her late 80s, maybe 90s. When she was showing me her hands, like she had that really thin skin that happens like when we get older. And she was showing me that she bruised easy. Okay, so Marissa said, farm and big family don't connect to me. Okay. And Kayla Jenkins says, I think it may be my Nana. Okay, Kayla, what can you take? And I can do a quick recap for everyone. And Tracy says, wait, sorry, not 6 kids. Okay. So a quick recap, as she was stepping forward, she was showing me her wearing like white slacks, a light purple button-up blouse, and she has a white sweater that she'd kind of drape over her shoulders. I do feel that she walked with a walker, but like the ones with the wheels where you could sit down on it as well. Her hair, it's it's really, really white, and I feel that she had it curled. It almost reminds me of like a little white halo. She is showing me that she would wear a gold chain cross necklace. She had a delicate gold watch, and she would keep tissues on the inside of her band. Sorry. She did wear a hearing aid. So a lot of times when someone would talk, she would like turn it up and be like, huh, what? And then if it would make that whistling sound, she would be like, oh, it likes you. It's whistling. It was kind of like her joke. And she did have the more bigger frame glasses. So Ashley Lynn Atwood says, my grandma had black hair though. Okay. She was showing me a picture of her when she was younger and started out a family of her own. It looked like a black and white picture to me. I did see children in the picture. I counted 6, and her husband was quite taller. He had darker hair. In the picture that she was showing me, it's black and white, so it's kind of hard to tell the hair color, but I do feel that her hair was darker. She is kind of dressed in the 1950s style. Kayla says, could also be my great-grandmother. She had a walking frame before she passed. She was living in a retirement home. I can't remember if she had a hearing aid. Okay, Kayla, would you understand her starting out life like on a farm? She was showing me like she was hands-on. Like I see her doing gardening. She wasn't afraid of hard work. Okay, Ashley Lynn says, I'm sorry, I don't think it was my grandma. That's okay, Ashley. You know, you can always ask her to step forward. I do feel that I'm kind of more drawn to Kayla. So I was just wondering, Kayla, if you could take her starting life on a farm, because I did kind of feel that at some point in her life, she moved more in like city or town wise. And she looks to be between like 80 to late 80s, maybe early 90s. Very sweet woman. So Kayla says, I think maybe she was raised on a farm. Okay. Would you be able to, I know you said you couldn't take the hearing aid, but that is okay. Would you understand, like, to her, and I know for all of us, family is like a very important, but I feel especially like her family was large, and not just saying that she had like dozens of children, but it's like the children who had children, like it kind of goes from that. Like I feel that she had a lot of, Kayla says she raised my mom. Okay. So what she was showing me is at her services, was her services held at a church? So I was seeing like lots and lots of people there came to pay their respects. And when I see that, I just feel like she was like the heart of the family. Would you understand that? And when your mom, would you understand? Because when I read about she raised your mom, she was showing me, I feel it was like a memory, but was your mom a blonde haired child? Okay. So Kayla says, nope, at a funeral home. Would you understand there being like a lot of people there? So I assumed it was a church because I saw like the pews, but I know funeral homes have that as well. So Stephanie Frontenera says, so many similarities to my gram. Okay, what can you take? So I'm just going to ask her if she has any. Okay, so Kayla says, nope, dark hair. My mom had. Okay, no, that's fair. So I'm just going to ask her if she has any messages. So when I asked her what messages she has, she was saying about how a watched pot never boils. And when she says that, it means like when you are making a decision in life, instead of like just watching to see what happens, is that you have to take action. So Stephanie Frontera says hair always perm, but she dyed it till the end, always had tissue on her. Okay, would you be able to take the walker, Stephanie, and her cross necklace, and the fact that, so I feel that she grew up on a farm and lived there, you know, she's saying through my childbearing years. I feel that once her and her husband got older, they kind of moved from the farm because things were it was getting harder for them. Yes, I do feel she had a very large family. She was showing me, and I take it kind of like a church setting. I see a bunch of pews, and at her services, there was like literally standing room only. But would you be able to take that, Stephanie? Okay, so Stephanie says city all her life, no farm. Yes to the necklace. Okay. So she's just saying too, she goes, you can't just sit on the sidelines and watch life go by you. She says you have to, jump up and like go after your dreams and not just let life and possibilities pass you by, because she goes, sooner or later you blink, and then she says you're old, and she says you regret not doing the things that you really wanted to do in life. So Stephanie says she refused the walker at first, had 2 bad falls, and had to use it the last few years. Very independent. Would you understand that? So when I read that, and she like kind of like stands up a little bit straighter, and would you understand too that even when she was having some trouble walking before the actual walker, if you tried to like hold her arm, she would be like, no, I can do it, I don't need help. So Stephanie says very large wake. church service was just family, but there's so many of us. Okay. So she is, I do feel, Stephanie, that I am drawn to you. Your grandmother just wants you to know that she appreciates each and every one of her family members. She says, don't cry. She goes, she says, don't cry. She goes, she's like, I'm in a place of peace and beauty. So Stephanie says she had hearing aids too, didn't use them well. So you would understand her like fiddling with it and it would like make a whistling noise. I hear when that happens, I hear her saying, oh, it's just whistling at you because it likes you. I do feel that she did have a good sense of humor. Would you understand her saying to you, trust in yourself, baby? Everything will be okay. And I see her like kind of patting, not just like your face, but when people came to her for advice, she would kind of give them that pat on the face. She does want you to know that she's good. She's fine. She's saying that she doesn't need to use the walker. She says, she's right as rain. I'm just going to thank her for stepping forward tonight and thank you for being able to recognize her. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you to your grandmother. Let's see who else would like to step forward. So I do have a young man stepping forward. He's taller. I put him maybe about between 6'2", 6'3", thinner build. His hair is like a dirty blonde, kind of a little bit shaggy on top. I feel he has blue eyes. His nose, it's almost kind of like that hook nose, like a little bit of a bump and then like really like pointed. His lips are a little bit more fuller. He has a very nice jawline. He's being humorous because he's like, you want to tell him about my Adam's apple too? He's like, it's right here. He's wearing a black t-shirt, blue jeans. He was showing me his jeans because where he's so tall, he's saying that it was a little bit harder for him to find the right pants length. So he's like, he's showing me like this, and he says they're always that like inch or two, just too short. I feel with him, he had kind of like that playful personality. Joking, like to play pranks. Oh, and Stephanie says thank you. And I just want to say you're welcome, Stephanie. I feel that in his family that he was like the odd one out, like he was taller than the rest. I feel he's showing me, I see a man who looks very similar to him in face. He was going a little bit bald on top, so his hair is like a little bit thinner around the side. I feel this was his dad, but his dad like came kind of like up to his shoulders, and this young man showing me that he would like rest his shoulder or his elbow on his dad's like head. I feel that it was like it was just him being playful. His mom, she has around the same hair color as him. Hers is a little bit more on the strawberry blonde, and she's shorter than the dad. So Tracy says, how old around is he? So how he's showing me, I would have placed him between maybe 18, 19, early 20s. Sometimes our loved ones, they will show up at an age that they felt most comfortable. My son often shows up as a 7-year-old boy. Tracy, what can you take? So I can do a quick recap. He's quite tall. I would put him maybe 6'2", 6'3", thin build. His nose, he kind of has, he's calling it Captain Hook's nose. So it like has kind of that bump and then like straight. Very nice jawline. He does have blue eyes, kind of like a sandy blondish, dirty blonde hair. He was showing me him wearing like a black t-shirt and then blue jeans, and he was like showing me his ankles because he was like complaining that it was hard for him to find the right length jean, that there was always like an inch above his ankle. He showed me him standing what I feel is his mom and dad. I feel that he was kind of like the odd one out, like he was taller than everyone. His dad, he shows me him like balding on top. He looks a lot like this young man, except for shorter. Mom was shorter than dad, and she had about shoulder length, almost like a strawberry blonde hair. I'm just going to see if he can either show me something else. So I also get from him that he was very playful in nature, kind of a prankster, but he's also saying that he's reliable. So he is showing me, I feel that it might have been like a first car for him. It's the smaller car. It's like almost like a pea green color or a paisley color, I guess. He said that it was funny because like the car was so small and he was like so tall that it was almost comical when he would get out of it. Would anybody be able to recognize him? So Tracy says, I can take all of it, especially the nose, laugh loud, just the age. And he's 6 foot, I think maybe 6'1", very humorous prankster, black sheep of the family. Okay, Tracy. So you said just the age. So do you feel that he's showing me him younger than what he was at the time of passing? I'm just going to ask maybe if he'd show me. Sometimes when they show up younger, I'll ask, and if they passed at an older age, so it's like all of a sudden, to me, it's like where my son shows himself at 7, then I'll be like, hey, Joan, like, show me your age. And then he's like, poof. And he's like, my son calls it leveling up. He was a gamer. So when I asked him if he was showing me the correct age, he was just saying that, he was a little bit older, but not by much. He keeps on showing me like a 3 and a 0. So I'm going to say that he's saying like 30. Would you understand? So when he were to greet someone, he would like wiggle his fingers like, hi, like he'd just be silly about it. And then like he's showing me because he's like going, hi, and then he's like, or is it more manly? So Tracy says, yes, a lot younger, but you described him in the way he looked at 19. Okay. He was just, the only thing I can think of is like just that goofball personality. Like he was showing me him literally, I see him in like gray sweatpants. And just for a laugh, he shows me him wearing like a Superman t-shirt and he ties, it looks like, I feel like it was like a red blanket or something. And then he shows me him like pulling blue shorts over his pants. And he's like, I'm here for the rescue. Like, especially if you're having a bad day or he knew you needed cheering up, he was totally willing to make himself just look silly. Would you be able to understand that? So Heather says, sounds like my boyfriend's dad. So Heather, what would you be able to take? Would you be able to take how he looked? Or I can do a quick recap for anyone. So he's taller. I put him maybe between 6'2" and 6'3", skinny build. So Heather said he was older when he passed and he had a PT Cruiser that he thought was too bug for it, or so he thought he was too big for it. So Tracy said, no, then not my loved one. He was 53 when he passed, but everything else matches. He used to wiggle his fingers in my face. I'm not sure it's for me. Okay, well, Tracy, a lot of times when our loved ones come through, they can show themselves at a younger age. And Heather says he was 6'6", so he was tall. Okay. I'm just going to see if he can, again, I'll just do a quick recap. So mind you, I'm 5'1", so anything above to me is giant. So I feel that, like, would you understand, Heather, that with his height, it was like almost hard for him to find, like, say, jeans that fit properly, especially with the length? And would you be able to take the playful prankster personality? Okay, so Heather said when you mentioned Superman, he loved comic books. Heather says he took his kids to superhero conventions. Okay, so that would kind of give him, would you understand, like, did he like to dress up as well? Because he was showing me, I felt that it was more like him being silly to try to cheer someone up. From him, I get a very playful personality, but it's like he just wanted people around him to be happy. Okay, so Heather says, yes, he was most definitely a funny guy. So I'm just curious, because when I asked him if he could show me the age that he was at passing, so Angie Wolf says, yeah, definitely always a prankster. Okay, so between Angie and Heather and Tracy, what could each of you guys take? Heather says, I'm not sure about dressing up, but I literally have a whole bunch of superhero comics book in my closet. Aw. Would you understand him saying, are you keeping them mint? So were these his comics that kind of got passed down to you? So he was showing me like he has, I don't know, that kind of just triggered. So it's like he had comics for like reading. Oh, okay. Angie's my mom, and no. Okay. Hi, Angie. Hi, Heather. Thank you for clearing that up because I got confused for a second. So what he's showing me now is like he had comic books that he kind of kept like for everyday like reading, but then he had those special ones that he had like in the clear plastic, the ones that you do not touch, you admire without touching. So Heather says, yes, they are his. We took them after he passed. Okay. He was just saying that he says, you know, I'm happy that she has that part of me. I feel that you guys were close. It was like he made you feel like you're just part of the family. You know, there was no awkwardness. Like you're just like one of his kids. Would you understand that? So Heather says he collected them. Yes, I did get a feeling that he was a collector of comic books. He was showing me like all the different ones that he had in this plastics, and it was like he just liked to keep those in mint condition. So Heather says yes, he has a bunch of ones that are in plastic. Okay. He says keep them in that. He goes one day they'll be worth so much. He goes, they're worth so much to me, but he says money wise one day. He says that he's glad that you have them because when he says she knows the value of them, he's not meaning like money wise, but what they meant to him on a personal level. He wants to thank you for really being there for his son. I feel that his son, so Heather says, I actually just opened one for my son today. Laugh out loud. Okay. He was like, I know. He's like, I was there. He's like, but he goes, dear, he goes, try to keep them mint. But so the thing that I was saying before was like with his son, you were really like you were his rock, especially when his dad passed, and he wants to thank you for that. Would you understand him saying like you kind of like took charge? Like he was showing me like when everyone like in his family was like really just like kind of breaking down, you were there to, you know, like whether it been like help tidy up or help with the arrangements or just making meals. Would you understand that? He just wants to let you know that he is incredibly grateful for you just stepping up and being there for his family. He was just saying that he always enjoyed your guys' conversation. So Heather says, yes, my side of the family paid for the funeral. Oh, that is incredibly generous. And wow, your family is very, very kind. I just want you to know that he appreciates everything. He says just everything that he calls you like a blessing. He says everything this girl has done. It amazed him, because I do feel too that even though he had that fun personality, you know, he was able to be serious. And I do feel that, you know, at times like he wasn't always like he was fun, but yet he wasn't really the type to ask. for help, but he just wants to let you both know how grateful he is to both of you. He said that it was a beautiful send off. And would you understand that, like, I know that you guys paid for his services, but you made it in his style and also listened to what his family wishes were as well. And he's just saying that, not a lot of people would do that, but he is very, very grateful. And he says that, don't worry. He goes, I'm still around. He goes, do you talk to him sometimes? He was just saying, he goes, he cups his ear and he goes, I still hear. He says, I hear everything. I just want to say thank you to him for stepping forward tonight. And thank you, Angie and Heather, for being able to validate and recognize him. He's saying, he goes, yeah, he goes, I can't help it. He's like, when he was like younger, he was just like, he was able to do everything. But then I felt like when he got older, so I'm not too sure if he was having some like issues, like mobility wise, because I do feel that like he was fun, but yet he wouldn't bring up issues that were affecting him. But he just wants to say thank you both again. Well, Heather, just know that he's aware. He says that I'm sending all my love to not only you, but his family, to your mom. He says thank you all for everything. I just want to thank him for stepping forward. And I'll see if I have anyone else here tonight. Yeah, I think that was the last one for tonight. I'll just see if anyone else would like to step forward as well. I do have one more lady. I would put her, I want to say maybe late 40s, mid 50s. She had longer hair. It was darker. She looked really youthful for her age. Oh, and Heather says, thank you so much. You're welcome, Heather. She was slender. Her hair was darker and she had bangs. Her cheekbones are like higher. I feel that she like took really good care of her skin. Her skin is like flawless. A lot of times you would see her, she liked to wear like beige color kind of dress pants. And I see they're a little bit wider leg. And she would always pair them with like a pointed toe high heel. She's showing me her wearing like a white dress shirt with like the pin, like the black pin striping to it. She's just, the feeling, the personality that I get from her is like, she could be very serious. I do feel that she was business oriented, but at the same time, when she was at home with her family, it was like family came first. Tracy says, great messages, Sarah. Thank you for sharing your gift. You're a beautiful soul. Oh, thank you, Tracy. That means so much to me. She's also showing me her spending time like on a beach, and I see her with children and building sand castles with them. When she was at the beach, she would like wear a big floppy hat. Just going to see if she could like maybe elaborate a little bit, because I did feel that she was a businesswoman as well. So she was showing me like it looks like a tall building, a lot of glass windows. On the outside, the building looked like almost like a black. So Jackie's Lee Rat Nixon says, thanks, Sarah. Oh, you're welcome, Jackie. I see her, she's showing me like her kind of going into this building. She shows me the first outfit that she was wearing. So I feel that she had to dress business attire for her work. I see her carrying a briefcase, and it was like a brown leather briefcase. But then I do feel that like when she was at home with her family, like she's showing me her kitchen. It's very bright, airy. Her kitchen is white, but it has like hints of like lemon, like yellow, that lemon yellow color. She kept a very clean house. Would anybody be able to recognize her? So I do feel that on her downtime, I feel that where she was staying was close to a beach. She was showing me her making like sand castles. I saw two children, a boy and a girl. The boy has lighter hair, but the girl has darker hair like her. She also shows me her sitting on her front porch, like reading. I feel that she was very, very smart. So Ashley Lynn Atwood, how tall was she? So I would put her maybe about 5'5", slender build. She had like higher cheekbones. Her hair was longer. It was dark, and she wore bangs. I do feel that she was a businesswoman, because she shows me her walking into like a tall, it almost looks like a skyscraper type building. She's carrying like a dark brown leather briefcase. But when she was at home, it was like when it was her time to spend with her family, that was family time. I do feel that either her home, or she had like the beach was her favorite place, because she was showing me like the inside of her kitchen. I feel her house was kept very like neat, tidy, clean. Her kitchen, it seems very like open, airy. I see like a lot of white and like hints of like lemon yellow. Ashley, would you be able to take anything else? Okay, so I'm just going to ask her if she has any messages for us tonight. So the message that she has for tonight is she's saying to always remember the importance to keep your life balanced. She says there's a time and a reason for everything. She says, especially when she was younger, she was so business orientated that she almost missed out on the family aspects of life. But as she got a little bit older, she started realizing that, how she says that she could have her cake and eat it too. And she says that's the one thing that a lot of people forget. They feel that it's either one or the other. But she says we can all have our cake and eat it too. You just have to really want both. She says, again, I think the theme for tonight is that sometimes, you get so caught up in one thing that life is just passing you by. And then next thing you know, it's like you missed out on so much. She said, don't let life pass you by. She wants her family to know that she loves them dearly. She's safe. She's taking it easy. She was showing me, again, I really feel that the beach was her vibe, her relaxing. She was showing me her lounging on this lounge chair, and I see it looks like a big old pina colada with the pineapple and that little umbrella. She goes, you just need to slow down and learn to enjoy life to its fullest. She's like, the big things, the small things. She said, life is just such a blessing and a gift. She says, use your time wisely. Don't just over focus on one thing. She goes, because that's not how we were meant to live life. We're meant to live life and experiences as much as we can. She goes, because that's what it is. It's just learning experience. She's kissing her fingers and she's blowing kisses outward. She's also saying, she's kind of matter of fact. She goes, well, she's anyway, she's she's going, she's waving. She's toodaloo. That's what I hear, toodaloo. And she's gone. So if you or anyone here tonight recognize her, I just want you to know that she is safe. She is happy, and she just wants you to be safe and happy. And I think her message for all of us is true. You just got to live life to its fullest, learn how to balance. You can have your cake and eat it too. I want to thank everyone here tonight who was able to join. I want to thank my son, Jonah, for helping bring your loved ones through. I want to thank all of our loved ones in spirit for taking the time to come through. And always just have faith and trust in yourself. A lot of times I hear questions about, well, what are my signs? And honestly, no one can really tell you what your loved one's sign is. You just have to have that trust and faith in not only you, but them. And the best way I can say it, it's when you see something and they just pop right in your head. And I know you're probably thinking, well, Sarah, they're always on my mind, because my son is always in my mind too. But it's those moments, whether it be an odd coincidence, but all of a sudden they're just boom, front and center. And I feel that that's their way of validating that, hey, it's me. So again, I just want to thank each and every one of you for coming here tonight. I appreciate you all so very, very much. I look forward to hopefully giving you a private reading one day. And if not, I'll definitely be doing more lives.
Hey, Sarah, well done. You did a beautiful job. I've seen lots of people, a couple people got great readings, and maybe some other people queue in later and catch those couple that no one owned up right away. Sometimes they log in later, you know. And anyway, I appreciate you, and I hope anyone that got a free reading tonight that you'll write a review in the group. And remember, you can always book with Sarah. There's the link right there, and you can trust Psychic Insights because you know Psychic Insights is trustworthy. You know that we'll always give you your money back if you're not happy with your reading, and our readings are guaranteed, so you don't have to worry about a scam. You go to a website to book. We don't ask you to send donations or any of that crazy stuff. That's how you know it's a scam, my friends. Please don't get scammed. So there are definitely some scammers out there, and they are wild, so don't get caught into them, right? So it's a Friday night. I'm glad all of you tuned in tonight, and thanks Annie and Terry and Lisa. Thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We appreciate all of you over in the mediums group as well. Melissa and Roseanne and Linda and Terry. We appreciate all of you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. And I think you did a great job, Sarah. You did a great job.
Thank you. And I appreciate you so much, Hollis, for all your support. I wouldn't be here today without you. So thank you. And thank you, everyone, for just trusting me. It means a lot.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, I do love the
Well, you're
reviews.
trustworthy. So
Thank you. I do love reading the reviews. They do just help me validate that, you know, I am helping. So thank you.
Of course. All right. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Are you seeking guidance on your spiritual journey? Need help with a vexing problem? Missing a loved one and looking for answers? Look no further than Psychic Insights, a small trusted psychic service offering mediums, psychics, and spiritual coaching. This service is managed by Hollis Taylor, a gifted psychic medium, astrologer, and a compassionate coach. We are dedicated to helping you navigate your spiritual awakening. At Psychic Insights, we provide medium readings and psychic insight to help you plan for tomorrow and make choices for today. Find the support you need, compassionate grief coaching, and astrological insights to help you spiritually grow and transform. Our professional services include well-managed schedules, recorded sessions, and reliable psychic mediums ready to facilitate your transformational experience. Discover more at psychicinsights.life.